Blazers' hot stretch was interrupted on Friday night by the even hotter LA Lakers despite Damian Lillard's 29 points. But they have won 4 of 6 as they host the Thunder tonight in Portland, which will be Carmelo Anthony's 10th game with the club. And as you see, after easing his way back in, Melo's been pretty good offensively, averaging more than 18 a game on 48% shooting, 44% from 3 over the last 6. Let's get into the Blazers a little deeper with Casey Holdahl of trailblazers.com with us from Portland tonight. And Casey, obviously there was a lot of curiosity about Carmelo, what kind of shape he was in, what he would have left when the Blazers signed him. What has surprised Terry Stotts and his new teammates the most?
I think probably one, just how well he's come in and just ingratiated himself into the situation. Now, Portland's locker room has always been a fairly open and egalitarian locker room. Damian Lillard, not the kind of guy who really kind of manages from the top down. He really tries to keep everyone on the same level. And to have a guy like Carmelo who has a stature and a reputation and, for lack of a better term, an aura in the NBA, for him to come in and to really just become one of the guys in that locker room, I think is something that there might have been some concern or at least maybe some questions about how quickly a guy of Carmelo's stature would really kind of fold into that locker room, and it has been an incredibly easy process so far. I mean, it really, everything that they've asked Carmelo to do, he's done, and he's done it willingly, and I think that probably more than anything is what has maybe surprised him. Though Terry Stotts likes to talk a lot about how he doesn't really like to put limitations or expectations on players, particularly when they're coming in. He really wants to allow guys to come in and show who they are rather than bringing a bunch of preconceived notions about who a player is. So I think between Terry's kind of approach to how he welcomes in new players and, again, how gracious Carmelo has been, I think that has made for a really smooth transition that I think a lot of people were maybe concerned that it might not go as well as it has.
Well, and so far, albeit in a short sample or a small sample size, the Blazers have been 11 points better per 100 possessions with him on the floor than they have been with him off the floor. We'll see if that continues. I mentioned the Blazers are coming off a rough night on Friday. The Lakers ran roughshod over them, and they lost Rodney Hood to a torn Achilles tendon. He is now out for the season. For a team that's been trying to find the right combination of depth, be it their bench or the starting unit and the bench, really for the last few seasons now, how big a blow is Hood's loss?
It really is an enormous blow to this team. I mean, for a couple reasons. One, Rodney had been playing such good basketball, shooting better than 50% from the field and darn near 50% from three, despite the fact that he's a guy who mostly scores on jump shots. He's not driving to the rim. He's not getting a lot of looks at the rim. He's doing that with shots from the outside, and that really eases things up, particularly for Damian and CJ. And so to lose Rodney in that respect really hurts this team. There's really no one else on this team that they can plug in that kind of provides that offensive pop that Rodney does. The other piece, too, is that they were already pretty short on forwards as it was anyways. Obviously, one of the reasons why they signed Carmelo Anthony is because they were basically to the point where they didn't have a whole lot of guys over 6'8" who could actually get out there on the floor and play on a night-to-night basis. And so losing Rodney really makes them thinner at a position they were already incredibly thin at to begin with. And so then it becomes a question of what do you do to make up for that loss? Obviously, they do still have a spot open. They might consider doing something there. The December 15th trade deadline, or at least trade opening, I think probably gives them some opportunities to maybe consider some moves. But also, they have a guy in Kent Bazemore who's going to start tonight, who they've been really high on and who they acquired this offseason, and he's been coming off the bench. And I think that they viewed Kent as a starting caliber player anyway, so he does give them something there. But, for the most part, it's going to be, can Kent Bazemore fill in? Can Mario Hezonja fill in? Can Anthony Tolliver fill in? And while it's possible that they can do it in spurts, it is a bit hard to imagine that they're going to be able to give this team what Rodney Hood has, which is incredibly accurate three-point shooting and incredibly accurate mid-range shooting, which, again, is something that really takes the pressure off guys like Damian and CJ and, to a lesser extent, guys like Carmelo.
And at 9-14, they need to be going the opposite direction, not losing players. They're not among the top 8 in the West at the moment after a Western Conference Finals appearance last spring. Obviously, there's been turnover. There have been more injuries now. What, though, has been their biggest issue on the court this season?
I think defensively it has been a struggle all year long, and part of that is that they've had guys in and out of the lineup. I think Hassan Whiteside was injured to start the season. Damian Lillard's had some back injuries to start the season. So they really haven't had an opportunity to have the entirety of their starting five on the court at the same time for an extended period of time. And that really shows up on the defensive end. They had a lot of changeover from last season anyways, obviously bringing in Hassan Whiteside to be the anchor of that defense. That's been a work in progress. both Rodney Hood and Kent Bazemore have given them something at that forward position. But, losing guys like Al-Farouq Aminu, losing guys like Mo Harkless, who really did make their bones on the defensive end, that is something that the Blazers have been trying to figure out how to make up for those losses. And so far, it's been a real work in progress, particularly fourth quarter. It's been a bit better since, I would say, the last 10 games, but this team, and the players even talked about it, defensively, in terms of rating at least, one of the worst teams in the fourth quarter this year. And, when a team, or the Portland Blazers have been a team that have been really used to winning close games late. It's been one of their hallmarks is when you have a team that's been together for a long time, you typically know how to get into a close game, and if you're in there, you know where guys are going to be at, not to get too, overinflated in terms of what's happening, and they've been able to pull out some very good wins over the past couple seasons because of that familiarity. That is somewhat gone now, and they've had a bit of trouble, particularly defensively, slowing down other teams in the fourth.
Blazers will attempt to beat the Thunder for the third time already this season. Tonight, that's Casey Holdahl, who writes about the Portland Trail Blazers, who brought the word egalitarian to the program tonight, and according to his Twitter bio, wears a size 11 shoe.
Thank you so much.
Wow. I got a dictionary to find out what the hell he's talking about.
You never know what people are going to put on their Twitter bio.
Yeah.
Casey wears a size 11.
Fantastic.
It's out there for everyone. In case you want to send him something, he wears
It's size 11 in case he needs a shoe.
Melo in Portland. I'm surprised by how much like himself he's looked so far, if nothing else.
Yeah, when they first signed him, I was hoping that would fit for him. And, I agree. That defensively was where they have issues, and offensively is where Melo shines. But his offense has helped him. It has helped the Blazers, and it's been a nice fit. I'm really happy for him. You can see right here, now everybody in the league who's worth his salt drives. There's nobody in the paint. It's bad defense, by the way. And he does this. He just absolutely takes it wide open. So what does he do? He doesn't settle. And I think, in the past, sometimes Melo would settle for shots in that situation. Here he's got a small guy on him, and this is just classic Melo. He's just going to play bully ball, throws it up there, misses it, knocks the small guy out of the way, goes back and gets it, misses it, grabs it, knocks somebody else out of the way, and then scores it. So just playing bully ball over, you can't guard him with the small guy. Here he just spaces up, and this is what I like he's able to do for Portland. Everybody collapses. You have three defenders in the paint. He's got a corner and a slot open. He chooses the slot with Carmelo, and he just steps into that three and knocks it down. And then right here, you get a big switch down you. And Melo would normally, especially the last few years, would just seem to pull up on these and have a contested shot. What he does, he goes right by McGee, gets an and one going to the paint. So he's just playing better than he was, because like I said, he would have done that left step back. McGee would have challenged it, and it would have been a bad shot, contested too. But he goes by him, so he right now is helping them offensively. But overall, for Portland to get into that top 8, they've got to get better defensively, and I'm not sure that's going to happen until Collins comes back, or Nurkic, or some of these big guys that can help them. They just seem,
and they're not close.
No, I know that's the tough thing, is that they're a long way away. Yeah. And they were talking about Whiteside kind of holding down that paint. Man, you got to count on him every single night, and that's never been Whiteside's strong point, is accountability every night.
Consistency,
yeah.
If the Blazers are going to turn it around from 9-14 to get somewhere to the point where maybe they could even think about returning to the Western Conference Finals, how does Carmelo fit into that turnaround? What do they need from him to get where they want to go?
Well, I think he has to continue to do what he's doing offensively for this team. But I think the biggest surprise has been on the defense, and the fact that he's playing the forward, he's guarding bigger positions and bigger guys, and I think that's better for him. He's not playing the 3, which is what he came in the league as a small forward, and he would have a harder time guarding guys out on the perimeter. But he's able to use his savvy, use his strength, and he has good hands to strip when bigger guys try to take him in the post. But they need cohesion fast from all these other guys that are thrust into these positions right now. And I think Casey said it, that they had a core group that was together for a few years, and now they have Whiteside and they have Bazemore and some of these other Hazonia, and so they don't know where to go in those crucial situations where they need to finish games, where they had that before with Aminu and Evan Turner and some of the guys that were on that team last year, with Nurkic being in there as well. And so that they just need cohesion from those guys, because Anthony Simon, Little.
Trying to work him in, like
Right.
on-the-job
Exactly.
training, basically,
Yeah,
because he's
exactly.
getting minutes right now.
Exactly. So those guys have to grow up fast, and they have to figure it out fast because, there's only so much that Dame and C.J. McCollum's going to be able to do. And like I said, Carmelo's playing great. He's probably surpassed everybody else's expectations to this point. So they need that cohesion and those guys to grow up and figure it out fast.
All right, again, they've got the Oklahoma City Thunder for the third time tonight, already 2-0 against